Hello, everybody. This is Ben Hansen from MinnMax. MinnMax is a place about games, friends, and getting better. But this is not a clip from MinnMax. This is a clip from the Fire Escape podcast, which I was a guest on recently, along with Mike Mahardy, who's in the normal rotation over there, along with Dan Reichert and Mary Kish. They've all been on the MinnMax show podcast together and on various MinnMax content throughout the years. But on this episode, Dan and Mary were out, and so I joined Mike Mahardy and Vinny Caravella, formerly from Giant Bomb and now from Nextlander, to talk about a whole ton of things. You can subscribe to Fire Escape on your favorite podcast app if you want to hear the full discussion, or you can support Vinny and the crew at Nextlander by supporting them on Patreon or checking out their Nextlander podcast. And if you're really paying attention and wondering why my video and audio are different, it's because while I was recording this, I was also producing the deepest dive on Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree here at MinnMax, where we created a huge discussion all about it, but I was running that on a different monitor using Discord, so I had to use a different computer and setup for this podcast, but that's just nerdy tech stuff. But you should check out that deepest dive. It's a great conversation about Elden Ring, and you can always subscribe to MinnMax's YouTube channel as well. We appreciate it. But without further ado, here's an excerpt from the Fire Escape podcast. Thanks, everybody. Happy 4th of July.
Okay, where have you been? You've been off in France?
Yes.
Away for so long?
We did 2 weeks in France.
Oh, that was good.
Was
awesome.
My wife and I, yeah. What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Come on.
Love it.
Thank you very much.
We did.
La la?
Yeah, I said that a lot. Say, they hated it.
I will say, Vinny, I mean, this is weird,
Yeah.
Mike. I feel like our travels have been synced up, but I just got back from vacation to Quebec City.
Oh.
I was also immersed in a lot of French. And I don't think this was a bit. I think we got a genuine, ooh la la, your baby is so beautiful. I was like, do people actually say this? Or is this?
Was it a little skunk with like a beret on? Because that's
that could tip you off.
Yeah. What's the kind of American equivalent?
That's what I was just thinking.
Boy, howdy.
Boy, howdies.
Boy, howdy. That's a pretty baby. That's
boy.
I would not want to go. I would steer the carriage to the other side of the road.
Hot damn.
I would shout for the nearest security guard. I don't know that we have one really. Like, it's just such. It's like
it's
like
it's va va voom. Is that English?
If somebody said va va voom, that's a pretty baby. I would. Va va voom, that's a pretty baby.
I am deviating that person's septum if they say that. They say that to my non-existent child right now. Yeah, I'm gonna. They're going down.
So how was France?
It was phenomenal. We did Paris. We went down to Bordeaux. The weather was gorgeous. We got to Bordeaux was the part where it aligned the most with what we expected of the trip. You know how before you go on any big trip, you've kind of got this like fantasy in your head or expectations for it.
Sure.
And the trip is almost never exactly what you imagine it to be in a good way. Bordeaux actually kind of was what we imagined it to be. It was like these gorgeous chateaus. We were the bike routes through the vineyards were just that. They were exclusively bike routes. So we were away from the cars.
Just stop.
Yeah.
You sure you didn't get your scarf tangled in the wheels in the back as you were riding around?
I've got photos of, I filled the basket of the bike in front of me with a bunch of like local wines that don't export.
And baguettes and salamis that are coming out. Yeah.
That was a thing I noticed. Of the French stereotypes that hold up, the love of baguettes really, really holds up. And
they're delicious.
They're amazing.
Vinny, how do you feel when you hear about just chugging wine, biking through France?
It's amazing.
Is it rage?
No. It's like pure, like I'm really happy for you. It sounds like awesome. What is your life? Are you a spy?
Yeah. I wish.
Are you a secret agent?
I'd be good.
And he hasn't even talked about the beautiful lovemaking happening throughout this entire trip. I'm sure.
This whole time that's happening, are there like wispy white curtains blowing through and like
no,
dude.
Okay, so when I'm getting dinner somewhere here, how often or if ever have you guys gotten an actual has a cheese cart come up to you at a restaurant?
What do you think the answer is, Mike?
I think it's never, because it had never happened to me until.
Oh,
Sancerre.
wow. I just assumed you drove to restaurants in a cheese cart.
No.
Vinny, what is your average vacation looks like? Where the go to the staples? You're not biking through
This was our honeymoon, to be clear. We're not going to do this
look,
every
I'm
time
not
we go
judging
anywhere.
for how fancy it is. I think that's cool. I'm just curious,
Wait,
when you think
did you do the Key West honeymoon?
That was like a few nights right after the wedding where we just didn't do.
Sorry, that's not the honeymoon.
Yeah,
that's a pre. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to miscategorize your honeymoon. That was the wedding letdown. Sorry, that was the off ramp from the wedding.
That was our let's out of here and turn our phones off. Yeah.
Oh man, that's great.
What do you do, Vinny?
So I've got kids, right? So that's different. So
right.
Now it's like, you go to wherever the kids are going to enjoy, and you don't enjoy a vacation at all.
Which is like what? I mean, that just means amusement park, or
like amusement park or museums, or you go somewhere where
sounds great.
Yeah,
you don't enjoy it. That's wonderful.
And it's a place that's going to allow for kid-friendly meals and stuff like.
Did the kids' meals have wine pairings?
Yeah, mostly wine pairings, and the cheese carts. It's like mozzarella sticks or like craft singles,
and snacks.
Yeah,
it's WHINE.
Yeah. What's that like little one that has the red plastic spoon that sticks in it and
candy snacks.
Is that what it is? Okay, yeah. Like I enjoy vacations when the family enjoys vacations. That's my joy of it. It's like, is everybody happy? Awesome. Then it's a successful vacation. Maybe I got a couple of hours to like lay on a hotel bed and just like stare at the ceiling for a bit and think about Mike riding his bike with a scarf billowing behind him.
Yeah. But
a beret on as well.
Yeah, and a beret.
Eating a ton of food and going to amusement parks and museums. I mean, that seems pretty good. Like, what would your ideal vacation look like?
My ideal vacation is like
bachelor days.
Oh, mine is like I get in a car or a truck and throw my phone halfway up the trip out of the window into like a river, and then I disappear into the woods, and you don't hear from me for like 6 months. And then
have you done that before?
I've gone camping. And I love it. I love camping. I love just being in the woods. Like that's my idea of like a vacation.
But the kids don't like the woods.
It's different. Like, you're trying to make people happy when you're with like the family. Like, oh, is everybody enjoying themselves? That's awesome. That's great. But when you're by yourself or with like other people who really just like camping, it's, you don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
Ben, what's your ideal vacation?
I mean, it's nice that my wife and I are pretty in sync on it. And, we just got back from Quebec City and it hit it where we want to go to breweries, IPAs, and we want historical walking tours. If you have those two things.
Historical walking tours is very specific.
Oh, I mean, you're hip to free historical walking tours, right? Obviously a tip at the end, but like just Google the city you're going to, Google free history walking tour.
Yeah.
It makes every trip better. You learn so many weird little factoids. You get such a good feel for the city right when you land. I could not recommend it enough. And my favorite thing, when I retire, this is what I want to do is just go and become a tour guide around Minneapolis here or something. Cause they are the funniest motherfuckers, these historical walking tour guides. Cause it's just basically a comedy routine that they get to hone for years. They know all the little jokes. And I feel like maybe I'm laughing more than anybody else in the group, but you got to give it up. Like they're solid jokes. And I'm just so jealous of that idea. They get to just grind this out. They get to test these jokes
over and over again. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like stand-up comedy without the guilt and kind of the cliche aspects. And they get to be educational. It's everything beautiful.
Where would you want to do your walking tour? Where are you going to do it? Yeah. Where are you going to retire?
In Minnesota. Well,
it doesn't have to be Minnesota. You could go anywhere, right?
Just your lake house.
Yeah, that's good. I can't leave Minnesota, Vinny. It's kind of like a Field of Dreams situation. If I cross the border, I disappear.
Okay, except for Quebec.
Quebec City and the 80 other places you visited for Game
I guess, yeah. A lot of travel for Game Informer. But no, I think it'd be fun. It's not like walking around the streets of Minneapolis, but it'd be fun to do like a history of computing.
Oh, wow, you really nailed that one. Yeah. That's how they say it in Minneapolis.
History of computing in Minnesota, I think would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Like line up with like the Minnesota Historical Society, talk about like the history of MEC and Oregon Trail and all that stuff. I think I could find that niche and there's something there. I don't know. I guess you would just kind of walk in circles around the building. There's not really anything specific to look at, but I could weave a tale.
That sounds fun. That sounds great. A walking tour is not what I expected. That sounds I did not know about even the free. What do you tip at the end? What's the right amount to tip?
We usually go $20.
$20? Okay.
Yeah.
And they always accept it?
They do. They don't spend their faces. Like 2 hours, 2.5 hour, trip. You just think about like, how much am I paying for the average meal here? And how much has this how much information has this person given me? It's wonderful.
If you thought, hey, this video wasn't bad, well, there's a whole lot more like it on MinnMax's YouTube channel. Please help us out by subscribing to our channel and checking out the MinnMax Show podcast, also available on your favorite podcast app, the best, most thorough discussion about games on the internet with the deepest dive, our monthly community trivia show with prizes called Trivia Tower, and a whole lot more. Thanks so much for your support, everybody. All you gotta do is click that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.